been our pleasure to be here at the Dignity Health Arizona Cardinals Training Center today as mandatory minicamp is in full swing for the Cardinals. And sitting down with us now, the general manager, the architect of the Arizona Cardinals, Monti Ossenfort. Monti, great to see you. Thanks for coming
Vince,
by.
Bick, thanks
Monti,
for having me,
great
guys.
to have you.
You bet, guys.
This is kind of a good bookend because we talked to you in February for Newsmakers Week. You come in studio every year with us, and it's kind of a layout of what you want the offseason to look like, and a lot of it's abstract at that point. Now we get the bookend. A lot of the heavy lifting is done. This is really your first chance to see what you've put together as a group, even though it's in an OTA or minicamp setting. How do you feel about it? What do you like?
Yeah, Vince, it's been a good spring. Yeah, it's been a good spring. You know, it's we got the rookie players in here. They've been here for 5-6 weeks now, and so it's been a good. You know, they've jumped into the deep end and done everything we've asked them to do. The veteran additions that we made through free agency. You know, it's good to see the team coming together. And so, you know, we've made progress here in the spring, but you know, in all reality, it's not quite real football yet. You know, we got a long way to go, and you know, we'll get to that point here in July, late July, out in Glendale at training camp. But you know, we're off to a good start here. It's good to have the team together, and then it'll be a good time to catch our breath here a little bit here in a couple more days.
Now, I've mentioned this a few times. One of the things I'm really vibing on is the fact that a few of your players have had, you know, events, celebrity softball games, basketball games, bowling tournaments, and the turnout has been really, really good. Guys stepping up with each other. It speaks to what might be really good chemistry, which is a credit to you and the kind of team you're building here. But do you sense that? Do you sense a connectivity here that is really, really encouraging?
Yeah, Vic, that's a great word, connectivity. You know, a connected team is important, you know, and I think it's not only with the team, it's with the football operations, it's with the entire organization together. You know, it's about the right type of people working toward a common goal, and it's great to see our players out there supporting each other, and they do a lot of great stuff in the community and a lot of great, get a lot of support, and to have those teammates out there and supporting those guys and doing that, it's awesome to see. And so, you know, I think that can only help us on the field. You know, off the field is important, and then when we come together, when the games start meaning something, that's going to be important.
Monti Ossenfort, our guest here on Bickley Marotta Mornings. We sat down with Zaven Collins earlier, guy who's been here going into his 5th year. It's hard to believe he's been here that long, but also his role as, you know, being a constant in that front seven. How important is this a year for Zaven Collins in terms of what you want to see him contribute to this defense?
Yeah, I love Zaven. You know, actually, Zaven, we've talked about Zaven a lot. He's had his, in our this is our 3rd offseason here, his spring this year, it's been night and day. Zaven has taken a step, and what he's doing, the way he's moving, the way he's taking care of his body this offseason, it's shown. So we're expecting big things. Zaven's been a huge part of what we've done defensively the last 2 years. He's going to continue to be. His versatility, you know, he's we went through the position search with him, and he's really settled into that, and you know, really looking forward to the way he can play 3 phases, and you know, he rushes the passer, he sets the edge, he does drops in coverage. You know, it's hard to find a guy that big that can do that many things. So, and then really what Zave brings to the locker room, just really excited to have him as a part of what we're doing.
All right, so your defensive coordinator Nick Rollis has done some really good things in the first couple of years without a lot of weapons around him. You've given him a lot of reinforcements this offseason. What might that mean? What versatility, what could this defense look like? What is the ceiling of this defense?
Yeah, we talked about that a lot going in the offseason is we wanted to be more disruptive on defense. And so, you know, adding the players that we added to our front seven, adding the players that we added to the back end, you know, just being disruptive on the ball, taking the ball away, creating negative plays. And so we wanted to do that. We wanted to increase depth. We wanted to increase the talent level. We feel like we were able to do that with both veterans and younger players. And so that was a priority for us. And, you know, you guys have seen the NFL season, it's attrition, and especially on those lines of scrimmage, like it's hard to keep guys healthy, and we've suffered from that. And so increasing the depth and the talent level was definitely something that we wanted to do going into the offseason.
On the offensive side of the ball, obviously there's all kinds of eyeballs always on Kyler Murray for his ascension, waiting for that ascension to get to the next level, but also a very healthy number of eyeballs on Marvin Harrison Jr. I love Kyler's response yesterday when asked about MHJ's new physique, and he said, "I thought it was AI." He looks like a different person. Is he playing differently? Are you seeing a different Marvin Harrison Jr. in this second go-around for him?
Yeah, Mars had a great spring. I mean, I don't know if there was a day that he wasn't here in the offseason, and he's put the work in, and that's just the way Mars wired. And he's really taken steps this spring, become more comfortable. We talk about it all the time. A player's biggest jump is really usually between year 1 and year 2. That rookie year is a big adjustment for all rookie players, just adjusting to a new city, a new scheme, a new set of teammates, a new locker room. So that year 1 to year 2 jump, we've seen it with a number of our players, and we expect Marv to do the same this year.
If there's any quibble some of the fan base has with the roster going into the summer, it would be at the wide receiver position. Some people wonder, do you really have a 1? Do you really have a 2? Are you comfortable with what you have, and if so, why?
Yeah, I am comfortable. I mean, we have guys that have played a lot of snaps. Marvin, Mike Wilson, Greg Dortch have played a lot. Zay Jones has been he's been a really productive player in his career. We have some young players that are going to come on and really have a chance to contribute. So, hey, listen, the time of roster building never ends, and so if there's a time to add something, that we will. But right now, we're really comfortable with the guys that we have in that room and feel like they have made plays and are going to continue to make plays for us this year.
Monti Ossenfort, the general manager of the Cardinals, our guest here on Arizona Sports. I mentioned Kyler earlier with the eyeballs on him. In the time that you've been here now, third offseason going through, and obviously the conditions have changed for Kyler, but he's healthy now. He talked about how great he feels. What differences have you seen in Kyler Murray as a quarterback, as a human, and as a leader?
Yeah, really, it's just seeing the way he is around his teammates, seeing the comfortability that he has. I think there's a certain level of he gets settled into the scheme now. This is, going into his, second and a half year. He had the half year coming off the injury. And so, just the comfortability with what we're asking him to do, both on the field and off the field. He's comfortable in his own skin. He has a good role in the locker room, on the field. And so just seeing him continue to expand his leadership of the team, I think that's going to pay dividends once we get to the fall.
When you take a look at Kyler Murray, it's funny, I brought this up. I read a quote from Brock Purdy, who claimed on 40% of his throws he can't see his intended receiver because of the size of linemen. And a lot of people have wondered about Kyler and his vision. Where are you at in terms of what Kyler needs to improve on? Do you think maybe putting receivers in motion a little more often can change things up? Where does he need to grow to be that guy?
Well, I think that's the one thing about height. Kyler's been the same height for a long time, and so, different guys throughout the history of the league, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, guys are shorter. They've learned how to adapt, and things change with that. So, I think that's a big difference between, Kyler's been out of college football for a while, but we talk about college football. There's so much space in the college game. Windows, whether it's, receiving windows or the pocket, things get condensed in the NFL. And so Kyler's had to find a way to adapt. And he's going to have to continue to find a way to adapt because things are different for him at his size. But it's not a concern of ours. Like, he's found a way to make big plays. Sure, there's some things that maybe he doesn't do as well as some other quarterbacks, but there's things that he does that other quarterbacks can't do. So each guy's unique. We're going to continue to play to his strengths, and he's going to continue to make plays for us. And we just got to continue to put all of our players in a position to succeed.
One of the things I always joke about Bick with is look at that.
Hey, buddy. What's up, Coach?
What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, JG. Good to see you. Good. You did.
It's okay.
I'm a little flustered, JG.
Got him rattled.
Good to see you, man. I always joke with Bick about Cardinals fans. The nature of Cardinals fans, or Valley sports fans in general, is if there was a popular player that goes somewhere else, the desire for him to come back home is always there. It doesn't matter where they are in their career. And normally I laugh at those suggestions. Calais Campbell's different because Calais Campbell can still play the game at his age, and we all have fond memories of Calais from his first stint here. What has he brought to this group of Arizona Cardinals early on?
Yeah, I mean, I think Calais, his career, it's unbelievable. I mean, he's really had he's had 2 or 3 careers for a defensive lineman, and the way he's been able to the longevity, listen, I wasn't here the first time he was here, but I know how passionate the fan base is. I know what he meant to the community, and just to add a player listen, this isn't a charity case either. We had our hands full with him down in Miami last
Oh,
year.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he can still play, and we're excited to what he brings. Not only out on the grass, but in the meeting room, in the community. We were just excited to bring him back here, and the fact that the fans are fired up about that's just an added bonus.
All right, so this is nothing you don't already know, but we had Cody Simon in here earlier today. What a tremendously impressive individual. Tell us what you think about the rookie class. What has stood out to you so far?
Yeah, the rookie classes, they're off to a great start. It's you never quite know. We do a lot of work in the draft process. We try to get to know these guys as much as we can. We talk to a lot of sources. We meet with these guys. We Zoom call with these guys, and we think we have an idea. But until you get these guys in the building and you're working with them day in and day out, quite frankly, we don't know. And so the way this rookie class has come in, they've jumped in, they've done everything we've asked them to do. We're putting them in different situations on the field, off the field, in the meeting room. This rookie class is off to a great start. I think they're going to continue to grow. It's a hard transition. It's one of the biggest transition these guys are going to make in their whole life. And so, I think we got a lot of defensive players. The one draft pick that we got on offense, like he's a lone wolf there. But the defensive players, they're off to a great start, and they're going to help us out immensely this fall.
Yeah, I don't know what his platform is, but would you vote for Cody Simon for president? I mean, he's not eligible to run yet.
Let's get his football career out of it. Let's get that.
Let's get that first.
Yeah.
The sheepish grin that he had on his face when Bick asked that question about somebody saying, "You're going to be president someday," was priceless. Monty, always good to talk to you. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for the hospitality. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Monti Ossenfort, general manager of the Arizona Cardinals, joining us here at the Dignity Health Arizona Cardinals Training Center.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.